Greetings. I have returned with my wonderful eloquence and practiced narration ability to do a sketchbook tour. A thing about me that you do not know, probably, because I've not said this on this channel before, is that I'm an avid keeper of sketchbooks. You know those people who can never fill a sketchbook? Who get like a sketchbook and like, ooh, I'm going to do some art in it, and then they do a couple pages and then leave it be. I am the opposite of those people. I fill sketchbooks and I fill them with great haste. This is my latest sketchbook. And ideally, for my first sketchbook tour video, I would have started with my first sketchbook, which I kept when I was 14. It's technically not my first sketchbook, but it's the one that has sketchbook 1 written on the inside cover, so we are counting it as that. Unfortunately, my sketchbooks 1 through 45 are in a different country. I promise they are real, they are just not here. So I cannot do a sketchbook tour with them because I cannot simply travel 500 miles and 500 more just to be the man who walked 1,000 miles to do a sketchbook tour. So, you get sketchbook 46, which is the latest sketchbook that I have finished. Enjoy. This is the first page. It's an alcohol marker drawing of one of my OCs, the handily labelled Vixie. I think this drawing is quite bad, but they can't all be winners, and sometimes the losers end up directly front and centre. This is a post-it note, also of Vixie, but slightly older, because I refuse to draw on this page, because most of my sketchbooks don't have this page. They start with just the one page on the right in the first page. You know how it is, and I am a stickler for habit, so this does not get drawn on. These are some drawings of my OC that turned out quite bad on top of some paper that I stuck in to make it not look like the back of the alcohol marker drawing. These are some more drawings of the same OC. We are off to a weak start, but I promise it gets better. This is a sketch of a comic page that I would like to do with my OCs. And these are some more sketches of my OCs. I have many OCs. These are also sketches of my OCs. I drew a bunch of these lying on my side, which is why they are so lopsided. I am very sorry. These are more sketches of my OCs. And I created these whilst upright, so they're better. And there's this eye that I kind of like. I've been trying to do realism. Have I been succeeding at realism? These are some drawings of my housemate's chest because they were wearing a stripy top and they said, this top would be very good for drawing chests because the stripes give me form. And I was like, this is true, I am terrible at drawing chests. May I draw your chest? And they said yes. These two are my friend's OC, and this is my OC. And they were done in watercolour, which is a very nice medium. This is my OC, and a worse drawing of my OC. And this is Ugly Man, who I painted because I was very art blocked, so I thought, I shall make something that is purposefully ugly, and I cannot be disappointed with how it turns out if it is purposefully ugly. And then I painted this and was disappointed with it because I immediately smudged it. That's a recurring theme. I'm never patient enough to wait for my watercolours to dry. This is my design for a character from a book, and this is my friend Molly's design of the same character from the same book. The character is Carol. The book is Star Wars, Thrawn, the Ascendancy trilogy. Do with that information what you will. These are just my regular OCs, and this is my friend's OC. It's a sketchbook, it's full of sketches. And these are sketches from a different sketchbook that does not belong to me, that I photocopied and stuck in because I have to waste that print credit somehow. Also, I thought they looked quite nice, and I wanted to keep them. This is something that I drew on the inside cover of the aforementioned sketchbook that belongs to my friend, because my friend group simply co-opted it as all of ours, as collaborative, and made communism jokes about it, because we are mature. This is supposed to be Russian for our sketchbook, but I don't speak Russian, so I Google translated it. I asked my father, who does speak Russian, kind of at a conversational level. He's not fluent, but he knows words, how to say our sketchbook in Russian, and he said, like, "Nash sketchbook," which was boring, so I didn't listen to him, but I probably should have. And this is another thing I pasted in from that aforementioned sketchbook, which is, like, not great, but not bad, so I kept it. And this is just a wash that I did, because I got a sponge that day. This is a good thing I made with oil pastels on a background of watercolour. This is a bad thing I made with the same technique. And these two were trying to be, like, kind of in the style of, like, a fake cyanotype. That was a terrible thing. Sorry. Like, air quotes, cyanotype. But it did not succeed. They can't all be winners. This is my OC, and this is another one of my OCs drawn quite badly with a selection of alcohol markers that were purchased by my friend Sage. Hence why they are called Sage colours, because they belong to Sage. I skipped a page there. This is a piece of yarn on the ace flag, and these are some gears on a romantic flag, because I asked people in a Discord server what sorts... I hope I remember to edit that out. I asked people in the Discord server what sort of items I should superimpose onto these flags, and they said yarn and gears. These are some shapes done with oil pastels, and this is a painting of Volochon done with gouache. The most questionable of paints. I am quite proud of how this turned out, except for the water, which I think sucks. I cannot paint water, so I am going to paint more water to rectify this. This is an oil pastel drawing of my OC, and she has no eyelashes, because I don't trust myself like that with the fine details. I already accidentally put her pupil slightly to the left of where her pupil was supposed to be and spent a hell of a long time trying to correct that. So she is eyelashless. R.I.P. And these are some crayon drawings of another one of my OCs. I have a lot of OCs. It's a recurring theme. This is a candle drawn upon some offcuts of the paper I was using to cover up the bleed-throughs of ink onto other pages, as shown here, for example, and also the things I was using to protect my drawings from oil pastels. And this is another page that I quite like, but I'm disappointed by, because this is like the third time I have lined a drawing in an oil-based fine liner and then coloured it in with alcohol-based markers and gotten extremely surprised when they bled. More OCs and some poses. And I wrote here, "Shit man, this pose sucks." I never say man in that kind of manner, but I guess there is a first time for everything, including strange linguistics. And for the record, I disagree with myself. These poses are good, and they are drawn from reference. Another one of my OCs, and I was also illustrating the difference between the demisexual and the asexual flags. I created this image very lazily in Procreate, and then printed out a frankly unreasonable amount of them with a risograph printer. And I was on a plane, because the country in which I attend, the education thing that I attend, is not the same country that my permanent address is in. And my parents were like, "Beloved child, you should spend Christmas with us." And I was like, this seems reasonable. So I returned to a different country. These were things I drew on the plane. It was very dark. And these are another one of my OCs. This is where I was trying to draw plus-size bodies and did not succeed, so my apologies for that. I think this one actually turned out decent. I don't know if you can see it well, because it also turned out very light, because I was afraid of it looking bad. More OC drawings. And more OC drawings. These were done in a fountain pen that was given to me by one of my best friends. It's a very nice fountain pen. And they are a very nice friend who I love greatly. I'm very proud of this drawing because I didn't do any guidelines and it still looks decent. This is me designing new appearances for my OC who you saw previously. And this is a page that I slightly wasted, and I'm very angry with myself because here I exercised good judgment, and I thought to myself, instead of doing the shading on the innermost part of the arms whilst the paint is wet, I should wait for the paint to dry and then come back. And I just completely forgot to come back, and now it looks like she's holding her arms strangely apart from her body, as if though she is drenched in water or something. My father said that this looks very Picasso-ish, and in that moment I realised my artistic journey, all my practice, my 45 previous sketchbooks had all been for nothing because I fucking hate Picasso. Sorry, you're not supposed to swear on YouTube. This is a meme illustrated with my OCs, which immediately made it very unfunny. This is a candle illustrated with watercolour paints. This is my OC. And these are all the pens I got for Christmas because my family realised that they could keep me happy by giving me art supplies for Christmas. And so they did, and I was very happy. This is one of my favourite pages in the entire sketchbook. I like how busy it is, and I love this pose. She looks like she's doing a teddy bear roll, but standing up. My OC in watercolour, and this meme is one that I see everywhere on Tumblr, and it's like, I'll cut your throat, that'll shut you up. You're beautiful. And I, as a resident romance disliker, was like, well, I really like the composition, but not so much the subject matter, so I changed it to be worse. This is a redraw from my first sketchbook. I do not have with me a picture of what it was a redraw of, but suffice to say, the original one looked bad and worse, and this looks better and good. This is the same OC. I don't know what was originally on this page that I felt the need to cover it in post-its like this, but it was probably horrendous. This is some more of that same OC. And this is some more of a different OC. And I am very ambivalent towards this page because on the one hand, I like the sky. On the other hand, this does not look great. It's not very contrasting, and it's supposed to be water. It doesn't really look like water. To me, it looks more like snow, but everyone I've shown it to correctly guessed it was water, so, you know, differing opinions. This is my OC again, and this is a receipt for a bunch of things that I bought whilst Christmas shopping. You can probably guess the two countries I shuttle between based on my sketchbook, actually. This is a face, and as you can see, I was not particularly patient whilst waiting for watercolours to dry. This is another watercolour thing of facial features, and this has a sticker on it because when the page was empty, my mum put her signature on it, and I put my signature on it because we were discussing signatures. And then I realised this is not something that should be just readily available, so I'm going to take this down as soon as I get round to it. Some more OCs. I like this drawing. I feel like I really captured the siblingly annoyance in their eyes. These are some more OCs. And these are some more OCs, being my OC Kaede, her oldest sibling Itsuki, and her father. This is actually Kaede's younger sister and her older brother and her older brother's friends. And these are some OCs I did for an expression challenge. Vixie, Ophelia, and my two beloved OCs, Ingram and Schwartz. I love them so much, and these were also for the expression meme thing, and a cupcake. And this is a ticket from when I went to a gallery to see an exhibition. It was the exhibition of the works of Signé Merchepin and his contemporaries, and I thought it was very enjoyable, but Ferenci Caroi's work sucked. This is a very boring and bland, barren landscape that I made because I was bored and it was late. Some more OCs. And this is my OC in soft pastels, and it did not turn out great. I think mainly due to the insertion of this green flashcard paper, which was not conducive to art. These are some birds that I drew. These are some people that I drew, my OCs again. And this is one of my OCs. My OCs. You are sensing the theme. More OCs. Actually, this is quite a nice spread. This is my favourite individual drawing in the sketchbook. This is, I think, one of my favourite pages, but not the favourite. My friend drew this, but different, and I copied the design, but did it differently. I like this face. And I drew Edward Elric because my friend was drawing Edward Elric and I wanted to flex. And this is just terrible. I should have stuck something over it at the time, but it was almost the new year and we had no time. But I was very disappointed that this was like one of the last things I painted in the new, actually the last thing I painted in 2021 before the new year. And this is the last thing I drew in 2021, which is why it is labelled as such. These are some more drawings of my OCs and some stickers. And these are from the webcomic Aurora. I do not usually do fan art, but I like the webcomic Aurora. This is more OC stuff, and more OC stuff. And the now expired tickets of my friend who got new tickets and gave me the old ones. And I stuck them in even though there was still 3 days left of validity for these tickets because I am inconvenient and I really wanted to stick tickets into my sketchbook. And this is a tram. This is a specific number of a tram. And these are drawings of my OC at different ages, done with brush pens that I've had since I was 15 and are quite frankly on their last legs. And if they're not, then I applaud their resilience. OCs, an unfinished comic page draft thing sketch. Not good things, more OCs. More OCs and not good things, but like it's a sketchbook, it's full of sketches, who's surprised? No one. I'm covering these up because You should not know that. But these are some drawings of my OCs I did on the return journey. Jesus. Okay, that was difficult. More OC things, and my friend Sage started doing sketches from a video about hands. The one by Marco Bucci. It is a very good video and never finished, so I just kind of ruled under it. And this was me trying to explain to my friend why it is better to use a square/cube as a base for a drawing of a human head than a circle. And it is because it's easier to see what angle a square is pointing in than a sphere, because a sphere looks the same from every angle, but a square does not. A cube. I know how shapes work. I'm very intelligent. This is a painting I did, and it vexes me to no end, because in person I think it looks quite good, and on camera it looks shit all the time. I mean, it looks bad all the time. I didn't swear on YouTube. Pinky promise. This is another thing I did. It has tickets underneath it, and it was looking horrible, and then I added the lines in, I think it was a Posca pen, and I was like, never mind, this is amazing. This is a strawberry. I'm so on it. This is a meme I drew for my friend about a character from our D&D party. Same friend. And I was showing one of my classmates how to draw a side profile. And this, as labelled, is a shitty borzoi, because I wanted to impress someone who liked them. And these are my OCs. More of my OCs, and something that I drew in class because I wanted to. This is a dumb comic that I kind of copied off Tumblr, but with my OCs. Do not look at this, because I do not know who to credit, because I forgot who posted the comic. More OCs. A drawing of my classroom, but only a little bit of it. And this is a thing dangling from the ceiling, a power outlet, and also a terrible poppy and some clouds. And this is one of my OCs, and triangles, because I was sad and I like to draw repetitive things when I'm sad. This is the same OC. And these are my soft pastel drawings. I love working on soft pastels, but I never do because they make such a mess. But sometimes I do, and I love it. And because I accidentally sprayed so much fixative, you ended up being able to see some of the soft pastel through the paper. I drew another dragon fruit, but in pen. And I drew this, and it's loosely based off my grandparents' house. But I was so used to drawing the small tiles that when I got here I accidentally made these tiles small, and they were supposed to be large because they were closer. Hell is real, and I am in it. This is decent. I was very sad when I was drawing this. This is random, and this is gouache. And I was like, I think this looks good. And then I asked a friend what they thought of this, specifically this. And they were like, it looks weird. And I was like, never mind, it sucks. And this is a thing that I drew whilst watching a film. I never watch films, but sometimes I do, and when I do art whilst doing so. This is mainly just scribbles, but it's not terrible. And these are some OCs, and this is a rat drawn by my friend Cat, so it's labelled Rat by Cat. And these are some of my OCs. And a random graph that I thought was kind of funny. And a bad watercolour painting of paint water that I had to go over in Posca pen, and I think a Faber-Castell art pen as well. Entirely because I once again had no patience and could not be wait for the watercolour to dry before adding a new layer of watercolour. This is an oil pastel drawing I did of my lamp, which is from IKEA and can glow in many different colours. In this drawing it's glowing purple because I asked my friend, what colour should I make the lamp for the drawing? And she said, purple. These are 1 minute timed practices from the website quickposes.com. These are 3-minute animal studies not from the website quickposes.com, and these are 2-minute urban studies from the website quickposes.com, and these are also 2 minutes urban studies from quickposes.com. And these are 60-second studies, which is the same thing as 1-minute studies from quickposes.com. This is one of my OCs. And this is a soft pastel drawing of a can of Diet Coke. Instead of Coke, it says poison, because that is what it is. And this is a soft pastel drawing of some ways, and I'm honestly not that pleased with how it turned out, but you live and you learn. It's better than all my previous attempts at water, at least. This is a drawing of a candle that I honestly did not like while I was making, but now really like. And this is the only landscape picturing in this sketchbook, and it's a silhouette of some buildings against the sunset, and it says homesick because there was too much space, so I decided to put some writing in it. This is strange, I do not know, and I drew this last night when I was kind of sad, and it says, inside of all of us is a tiny little artist and they won't stop screaming to be heard. Because I'm pretentious. This is I'm actually going to cover this because this is like directly referenced from someone else's artwork that I saw online. It's Remus Core on Tumblr, and I don't want to like show this off because it is like the pose is just directly taken from their art. It's like, I shouldn't post this. This was just for like personal reasons because I really like the pose in the artwork, and I was like, I really want to see that with my OCs. So I drew it with my OC. And this is some more OC stuff. This is the last page in the book, and it's very underwhelming. This is a postcard that I glued in. Me and my friend had a debate over who it was in this postcard, and I've completely forgotten who we decided it was. The end. Also, this is a terrible, terrible name for a company. Anyways, that was my 46th sketchbook. I hope you liked it. I am very sorry for the inconsistent quality of my narration. It's not something I'm well practiced in. I can only hope that I'll get better over time. And yeah, I hope you liked looking at my silly little doodles in my silly little sketchbook. Bye!